Totally excited. I can't wait. But usually I don't have a lot of time to watch movies, but I can't wait for next week, Thursday, that prize up for grabs. So stay tuned to your Feel Good Breakfast show. I'll tell you what else you should stay tuned for. We spoke about this earlier, that the sudden death of Oscar-winning comic and genius Robin Williams, well, it kind of shocked us all. We were like, what? A guy who was so funny, a guy that laughed all the time, and he clearly suffered from depression that was severe, according to his publicist. And it just reminds you of the sadness that can lurk behind the widest smile. I look at some of the other examples in Hollywood, and it seems like there are a few actors and comedians who battle with mental illness. People like John Hamm, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Owen Wilson was a case that we've discussed on the show today. So with us in studio, we have our clinical psychologist, Megan de Beyer, is joining us this morning to make sure that we can chat about it, because I always say to people, Megan, if that happens to you, speak out about it. Welcome to the show, first of all, Megan.
Thank you.
I'm speaking so much.
Thank you.
Robin Williams, he admitted to suffering from depression. We all know that he had an alcohol and also a drug addiction that he openly admitted to. We also suspect that he might have been bipolar.
I think the thing to recognize is that he did have a diagnosis of depression, but he didn't have a diagnosis of bipolar. But certainly what we've seen amongst comedians worldwide, and there's some fascinating studies out there, is that this innovative creativity and these brilliant minds tend to have thinking styles that are similar to people that have manic episodes, or people who are kind of impulsive and highly creative, seem to have these kind of traits that some people have even linked to psychosis. I hate to say the word because it's not saying that a comedian is psychotic.
No,
you know, it's just that there's a certain thinking style. They need that impulsivity. They need to be, you know, unconforming. They need to be brilliantly innovative, because it's those crazy ideas that make us laugh.
Literally. What is the link between that darkness of depression and humor? I mean, it's two separate feelings and thoughts, however, it supports each other so nicely.
I think if we look at our everyday life, we make a joke about ourselves, or we laugh at each other, particularly in situations when we're feeling powerless or a bit hopeless or a bit stuck. So when you turn that volume up a bit, you can see that extreme laughter and shows of comedy could be an antidote to powerlessness and a loneliness that you're feeling inside, because laughter doesn't equate to happiness. You can laugh for a while, but you can go home unhappy.
Very sad. Yeah. Robin Williams, as we said, struggled with alcohol and drug abuse. Is that a way of him self-medicating, do you think?
Yes.
Or do you think that that is what caused the depression in the first place?
Alcoholism doesn't cause depression, but it makes depression worse. And almost all the suicides that we've seen seem to have a link with some form of substance abuse, because it creates an imbalance in the chemicals. Because if you're depressed, your chemicals, your neurotransmitters are already functioning in a different way.
So if you're depressed, you shouldn't use alcohol?
No, not at all. So that's one of the first things. Depressed or bipolar or any form of mental disorder, no alcohol or other drugs.
Yeah. Depression, people feel helpless. I always say, speak out, speak out. If you're suffering from it, where can we get help? What do you do if you know someone's depressed and they're seeking help?
I think one of the first things is people surrounding others who are down or sad or depressed. Don't be embarrassed to ask, are you feeling down? Are you feeling depressed? And also the big no-no is, are you having suicidal thoughts? You must ask that. You know, are you feeling like life's not worth it? Are you feeling down? And if the person says yes, because most people who are feeling suicidal do want to reach out, they do want to solve it and sort it out, and they'd love that last lifeline, you know, before they try something really tragic. So ask your loved ones, and there are places like Lifeline, and there's the Depression and Anxiety group that runs support groups all over the country. So that's a possibility. And I think, you know, the thing with Robin Williams is he brought so much laughter and joy and happiness into our homes. He lightened our lives. And I'd hate his memory to be sort of linked with this depression and bipolar, because he did have a manic thinking style, but he was creatively brilliant. He was brilliant and light-hearted and amazing. But we mustn't get fooled by those around us who are comics that they always like that. It's not the case.
It's a particular condition. Thank you, Megan, for coming in to talk about this. We're talking about depression and anxiety, and there's always help out there. We're going to make sure also that we post some stuff on Facebook, so you have to speak up. You're never alone. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and we've got a lot more feel good stuff coming up on the show. Graham, what's happening next?